ultimately,
everything solved today.
you're going to be able to stay abreast of everything. Now, when you see something, if you are a team leader
your craft.
and you
Your best
have
work does not
some
have to be behind
responsibilities
you.
with your
still
team,
be ahead of you.
you are going to want
You
to
have
make sure that you
overcome hard
communicate
seasons
and
before,
remind your
and
team
you
to
can
check
build
their
again.
announcements as well.
One day at a time, one conversation at a time, one
reach
skill
out.
at a time.
I know that in the
You are
announcement,
coming
for
back.
those of you that were curious about the most recent commission statements, that the announcement went out last week about Monday. There's a little bit of a delay there. They are rolling out on an individual basis here, and we will all have access here very, very shortly. But I got a text from David, the COO, for those of you that were on last week's call. Got to hear from David. There's just a few more days for payments to clear, and then as the payments get clear because we got a new banking system, the reporting will be available in everybody's partner portal there. So we'll have another announcement that will include instructions on how to interpret and view the reporting. That's going to come up here soon. Ask everyone to log in and confirm their payment details. Make sure, it looks like we owe a bunch of you some money and we don't have your updated payment information. It looks like there's about 50 or so people who are expecting some commission checks here that we need to, residuals that we need to get your payments straightened out. So make sure that, be proactive. You know, if you haven't gotten a deal across the board yet, make sure your payment information is updated there as well. And then I guess the last thing he said here is, look at your, oh no, that's, never mind. That was for me. All right. So with that being said, the next thing that we can look at here is in your portal, there's resources for those of you who are new. You know, a lot of people are asking for recordings of calls like this, but you know, the basics are here as well. So when you go to resources and click on that general tab, you're going to be able to see videos on how-tos, how to book a discovery call. You know, I was in our support portal today, and I saw several people submitting support requests on how to book a discovery call, and it's all right here in your portal. So make sure that you do your due diligence. Remember last week, if for those of you who were on the call, you know, when you encounter a problem, try to figure it out yourself, then reach out to your support network, and then reach out to support in EHP. That's the best and fastest way to get the results that you're looking for. Lastly, the support side, you know, we have a lot of frequently asked questions here in the support side in the portal. And there's an AI robot assistant that is being trained. So every time you ask a question to the AI robot, if it doesn't know the answer, we're going to get notified and we're going to be able to put an evergreen response. Evergreen meaning it stays there forever, and you're helping us help everybody else with it who has similar questions down the road. So this is all live now in your partner portal, and I really encourage you to utilize this for growing and learning and learning the how-tos and getting through those processes. Lastly, for those of you that don't know, I did do a training that I think is a great training. I haven't done it in quite some time. It's called Climbing Mount Everest. It's a best practices comprehensive training that I did. There's a tiny URL link there to click on that. You can screen share this or click on the QR code to get a copy of that training to watch. I think every referral partner would benefit from some of the information covered in that video there, that Climbing Mount Everest. And for those of you who are checking your inbox, the EHP Qualified Prospect Intake Form that so many of you have been requesting, for some reason we had a glitch. I just sent out the new link to everybody, so you might have gotten another email, or you're getting an email because it scatters the emails throughout the day. There's so many of you getting it, but check your inbox from and possibly your spam folder. But if you haven't requested that Qualified Prospect Intake Form, what it is it's just another tool in your toolbox to help have a conversation with a prospect prior to booking a discovery call. It's great prep work for you, and it just gives you a guideline and an outline of some questions that you can answer. This is something that I created on my own and just wanted to share it with all of you. So that's available as well. Go ahead and you can scan the QR code and request the form. You'll get a response here soon. But I did resend it out to everybody because I know that we've been having some troubles with that QPIF form. I am not a techie. This is about as high tech as I can get right here, guys. So thanks for bearing with me. What I'd like to do, we're going to open this up to Q&A and go through some information, but I just wanted to share a couple thoughts with you about this platform. You know, there's over almost 300 of you on this call today, and realistically, and really what I like to do is I like to break people, you know, when we're looking at referral partners and looking at people that are exploring an opportunity like this, I really like to break them into kind of 3 categories. My experience has taught me that this is almost universal in any endeavor. But there's 3%, there's 27%, and there's 70% of the population. You know, 70%, well, let's talk about the 3% first. You know, these are the people that have the Midas touch. You know, everything they touch turns to gold. We all know those people. Success just seems to come very easily to them. And they're leaders. They're credible, they're decisive, and they take massive action with confidence. And we all know those people. They can succeed at any endeavor that they put their mind and heart into. Then there's the 27%. And this is the majority of people, I think, that are maybe on this call. We are in the top 30% for sure, but we have a desire for more. You know, and we understand it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, especially on ourselves. You know, a lot of times we have to work on ourselves to become more successful. We're willing to commit and to take action because that desire, that overwhelming desire is there to succeed and to become more. And ultimately, we understand that we don't wish things were easier. We wish we were better. You know, that's a great saying that Jim Rohn talked about all the time. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. You know, a lot of people use the scorecard and they set a goal for money, you know, a financial goal. And really, you know, Jim Rohn taught me a long time ago, you set those goals, but not for the end result. It's for the person you become to deserve and to earn that kind of income. It's a journey. We're going to continue working on ourselves. So, you know, we want to set a goal to make $1 million. Great. Think of the person you have to become and you will become when you start earning that $1 million. That's the exciting thing that gets me out of bed in the mornings, guys. And that's what really excites a lot of us. 27%ers understand that. And they're willing to continuously work on improving your skill sets and your mindsets. It's a continuous process. It's personal growth. 70% of the population that is introduced to an opportunity like what we have before us here, they just can't do what we do. You know, they oftentimes have a lack of skill sets and mindsets, but more importantly, they're unwilling or afraid to commit to learning or improving upon themselves. They have that victim mentality. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. That's not for me. I'll never have that. So-and-so got lucky. They think this is too hard and they wish it was easier. So, you know, this opportunity really isn't for those types of people. Not for the 70%ers. This is for the 3%ers and the 27%ers. The fact that you're all on this call tells me that you're in those categories already, and I just want to appreciate you. The challenge that many of us encounter is that, you know, we don't know what we don't know. Last week was kind of funny. I referenced my conscious incompetence quite a bit by calling you all guys instead of guys and gals and gang. I'm working on that. But someone knows 100% of the information it takes to become successful. The problem is that a lot of us learn through osmosis and secondhand information. And what happens is psychologists say we only retain about 7 to 10% of what we hear on a first-time basis. So when we're doing even a discovery call, 7 to 10% might only be all that the prospect hears. But let's say we're above average and we remember 50%, half of what we hear on a first-time basis. Well, if someone at the top knows 100% of the information and they're going to turn around and teach somebody else, they're going to retain half, who retains half, who retains half, who retains half, who retains half. And by the time it gets to you or I, sometimes we're stuck with 3 or 6% of the proper information on how to become successful, the proper tools, the proper techniques, and 97% of the wrong information. That's the purpose of calls like this. That's the purpose of the portal. That's the purpose of the AI robot, and that's the purpose of your support network. What we have done here at EHP is we want to make sure that every single person has access to 100% of the proper information by logging on and promoting these calls. If everybody can get access to 100% of the proper information, and by no means am I 100%, but let's just say 90, 85, 75, 80%, 100% through some of the other experts at EHP, our odds of success are greatly improved. With that being said, starting in September, the first Wednesday deep dive training call in September, we are going to be we're kicking things off with a doozy. Mr. Brian Reinhardt, who is a member of our Discovery Call team. He is a fantastic leader. He is absolutely one of the most generous, kind, knowledgeable, professional people I've ever known. I mean, I'm going to speak highly of everybody here, but every week we're going to have a featured guest, and Brian is going to be kicking it off on the Discovery Call team. He's a team leader, and he has got a lot of experience and knowledge. He's gotten a lot of deals across the board with EHP and his team, and he's going to be our featured guest on Wednesday, September 2nd. Starting in September, every week we're going to be bringing a featured EHP guest on these deep dive calls, and you're going to be able to hear from every department head, and all of the different perspectives and people that are, help this EHP grow. And you're going to be able to hear and learn 100% of the information from these experts. I'm so excited to have Brian Reinhardt be our first guest. We had a random drawing, and he drew the first draw, and we couldn't kick things off with a better individual. So promote your teams, get your team members